visit around and do things and eat out.
Yeah.
And the next morning, we would get up and go to the fair, and then we leave from there.
I wanna
And my
hear
husband
these
and I had to
stories.
see the biggest boar.
Oh, okay.
B-O-R-E, yeah, no,
Oh.
B-O-A-R, whatever. It
B-O-A-R.
was always laying down, being bored, you know.
Yeah.
But
You
he
were pretty
he
bored.
thought that was amazing to see the size of that animal, so.
Well,
But I went for the horses.
Yeah.
me and my brothers never got to go to the Cattle Congress because that was on when school was on.
Yeah, that's
And we were
right.
in school,
Yeah,
and but my folks always got, and so I was always kind of jealous because my other neighbors, their families went to the state fair and they got to go with their
With them,
folks to the
right,
state
right.
fair.
Yeah.
But when my folks went for their exhibition, they would go to the Cattle
right,
Congress.
right.
And my brother and I never got to go because we were
Yeah.
in school.
Well,
We
we
did
did that
always have
too.
to go, but it was like one day, you know, because
Yeah.
we lived close enough that we could.
Yeah,
Well,
well, we
what-
went for a day. too.
Well, I know I'm much younger, but when I went to school, we got out of school for the Cattle Congress.
That's right,
Yes.
here.
They did.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh, so there are more than one, I guess, dairy cattle Congress, obviously.
Well, that's well known here, they call it in fact,
Yeah, it's very well known.
it closed for a while, or they sold, I forget, there was a time, it was before the pandemic
Yeah.
even.
Yes.
But now it's back, and they started back like 3 days, and now I think it's a full five days.
Is it?
I think so,
Okay.
it's quite a long time.
Anyway, we went, and like you say, there was a day off from school, so. it was-
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so that was kind of fun. But they had horses and pigs and
Mhm.
chickens
Yeah.
and
Rabbits.
Yeah.
rabbits. And what else? Rabbits.
Well, those were good family times, you know, those were the days you could take your family to these things.
I went for the rides.
Everybody, well, sure,
Okay.
yeah,
We didn't do the rides very much.
Kathy
We
did
did.
too,
All us kids did.
yeah, you kids did, yeah.
I remember Island Park. Do you remember Island
Oh,
Park?
yes.
They had a big Ferris wheel there.
Yeah.
Remember that?
Yeah. Yes, then that would be there
All season.
Yeah, all summer.
Wow, I don't remember that. Wow.
And they had
And in fact-
monkeys.
In fact,
They had They
Wow.
had cage with some monkeys, and we'd stand there and watch.
Oh.
And I would probably feel really sorry for them.
and also,
Um,
we had quite a few families of gypsies around town there.
Oh, cool.
That lived, well, not too far, there were several families that, were, off of, well, it would have been south of the Cattle Congress there, but, a couple of blocks. I'm familiar with that particular area, kind of where Edison School was.
Oh, yeah,
Kind of where Edison School
yeah.
and that area, and there were
That's on the east side,
there
isn't
were
it?
several families that they had back then. It was after the World War, and they were building some new houses, and the basements had been built, but the house hadn't been built, and so the families were living in the basements.
Oh, okay.
And
Wow.
the gypsies were living
Yeah,
in the basement.
yeah.
but
Oh,
they hadn't
really?
got
Yeah.
the house
I don't-
built.
I do remember that there was a.
In fact, there were several families scattered through that because there were several things that happened over the years that were big things with the gypsy organization. I mean, and there would be whole groups of them coming for
really?
a big
I missed those.
big congregation
remember
or
that.
something. Somebody that had a high standing in the.
What year do you think this was?
This would have been, well, they were still there when my husband was in the hospital with, so that would have been, gosh. I'm trying to think when that would have
The
been.
50s, 60s?
my kids would still be at home.
40,
My
probably,
kids
40.
would still-
1940s?
Yeah, and,
Wow.
like, Sue, they graduated in, 70, so 60, in the 60s, somewhere between the 50s and the 60s.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
in the 50s and 60s when they were there.
Wow, that is so cool.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean,
What, didn't they have some of those little, not little, but they had wagons with medicine and
Yes.
stuff on it?
Yeah, they did.
Okay, we used to see them go by up on the hill. We'd say, oh, the gypsies are coming.
Oh.
And then they'd
wow.
come and sell liniment and all that kind of
They had
stuff.
wagons and horses, is that what it was?
Yeah, just like you
Oh,
see
yeah.
in the pictures.
Just like in the movies?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
Yeah.
fact, when
Wow.
I was like, 5 or 6 years old,
Uh-huh.
at that time, our neighbors just down the road had a big grove in their property, a big, several acres of trees. And once a year, a whole
I'm so cool
group
right
of
now.
those caravans would be traveling through.
Oh,
And
uh-huh.
they would stop in that grove. And our orders, they were all horse-drawn and stuff. And they would stop and stay in for a week or so in that grove on their way. It was someplace in their travels.
Well, they were friendly, weren't they?
They were expected. I mean, I don't know what the finances were within the neighbors. Probably if they were allowed to stay in the woods there, that they wouldn't steal anything from there.
Oh.
But they were a little,
I mean,
Hard to deal with.
everybody,
They were
when the
hard to deal with.
gypsies came, you kind of watched your chicken
I
house
see.
and-
yeah, yeah.
and stuff.
Wow.
But they would sell all kinds of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
That is just like hot, like gun smoke.
Yeah, I
My
heard of
brother
that.
and
Hanging on the
I
side.
Yeah.
were ordered not to go down there, but the people whose grove, their son was a little bit older, and he would come up, he was one of our friends, and he would come up to see us, and then he was a little older and a little braver, and so he would go down, and we would go with him, and we'd go sneaking down, and
Yay.
well, gypsies knew we were there, but we were sneaking. They
Yeah.
knew we were there.
But you were curious.
Huh?
You were curious.
We were curious.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we just walked.
You wanted to
And we
see.
had orders not, and then, as I say, we kind of kept an eye on our hen house.
Yeah.
I love it. A little rebellion right here. I love that.
Well, you had to protect your stuff because
That's
there was
right.
nobody to
There was
protect
no one
it.
else to
Oh,
protect it.
that's
So
true
they-
too. But they were ordered not to go near, and she did. So
And then when we moved over there on Maxwell Street, then this was close to the Goodwill and stuff, and they would come around knocking on the door selling handcrafts, and stuff.
Yeah,
They
they,
would go
did
around.
kind of like the Girl Scouts selling their cookies.
But they were gypsies.
Yeah.
yeah.
Buy from the gypsies and get good luck,
Yeah.
And maybe it's true.
I wonder whatever happened to them.
Well, I think they just,
Were they considered like panhandlers or?
Yeah, they just,
Yeah.
they sold everything they could get their hands on,
well, I
And I
think
don't know if they
it
took
was
from some
a
people and
matter,
did some.
a matter of finances. And by that time, there were war times and
Yeah.
there was, even though they were,
So you've lived through a lot of war.
Both
yes.
of you have, yeah.
How
When
about
the first,
hot water?
my,
Oh no, I'm good, thank you.
Okay. You want some more hot water?
yeah, I'll take some more.
Laura's a young kid though compared to Mary Ellen.
Yeah.
my husband was a sailor.
Wow.
My kid brother became a full-time Army. He was in the by the draft was on when he was
There's
in
more
college.
tea bags.
So
And
World War
he was-
One and Two.
And when he graduated, he would have to serve in the Army for a period of time for his ROTC, and they said, if you will, this is interesting too, because it's my kid brother. They said, your time is up and you can become a civilian, or you re-enlist in the Army, we'll teach you to fly. And now, he became a pilot, but he's not part of the Air Force. He's part of the regular Army.
Wow.
He's part of the regular Army. He's part of became part of the, what will you call, well, his plane was a two engine
Okay.
passenger plane. Observation. He was shot down in the Vietnam War. He was shot down twice.
Oh,
Really?
Huh?
So what did he do then?
He was in the Vietnam War and you know, flying over enemy forces,
Right.
spotting where they are and stuff. He was shot down twice
Wow.
and ended up in a hospital in Hawaii for a while.
Oh.
But he ended up, he's a retired, he just had his 90th birthday.
Wow.
And he's a retired major now.
Wow.
That's
my
awesome.
goodness,
But
yeah.
his job, when he was first learned to fly, he was stationed still in,
What year do you think that was?
that would have been, he was graduated, I graduated in 46 and he was 8 years older.
Yeah,
than I.
okay, so in the 50s.
Yeah, the 50s. He would be in the 50s, and he was stationed over in Germany. Yeah, after World War II.
Wow.
And his job was, I chuckle when big wigs had to go from one army post to another. He was their pilot. See. They
Oh.
flew, because his two engine plane
Yeah.
would hold 6 people,
Right. Right.
Wow.
you know. He would take, and sometimes the payroll was paid in cash, had to be transferred from one post to another. He flew payrolls.
Okay.
Wow.
I mean, it was stuff like that
Yeah.
that we found out later.
That's really important,
that's what-
dangerous stuff, really.
That's what my kid brother was doing,
Wow.
see, I didn't think he could do anything.
Yeah.
And he,
But
You
he's,
see?
Huh?
You never know.
I
never
know.
know.
You never know what your brother and sister are capable of.
Or anyone else.
Or anyone else, or even your own kids.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, but my
Do you
brother,
want another tea bag?
this is all right, my brother in
It's probably
between,
okay.
just was in the Army, but he wasn't in any combat or anything.
Yeah.
And he became a farmer, then he became a farmer.
I see.
And took over with my dad.
Wow.
And my brother, once he left college, he was in the Army, and he was, until he retired. He
Yeah.
was in the Army till he retired.
That's amazing. That is an amazing story, I tell you. All right, Laura, I'm gonna help you clean up a little, because
Oh,
I gotta get back to a dog.
you gotta get that to the, I'm sure that he says it's 3:30.
Well, I
Now
brought-
you got,
I
it's
brought-
3:30, you gotta come.
I
Yes,
brought
that's
something to
correct,
show.
Laura.
This is my
It's a little girl
current,
bulldog.
this is my current project.
Oh,
Let me
cute.
see. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
I love it. Sorry, I get excited.
the thing is, that has a history.
I bet it
I
does.
started,
That's so cute.
Oh,
that's the
beautiful.
squares for an Afghan. I started that probably 40 years ago.
Wow.
I started it, and I thought,
It looks like a coaster,
yeah,
you know?
no, that's the
little
square,
coaster.
that's the square that goes on an Afghan.
I love
And
this.
I knew it would take me a long time, so I was smart. It's got all these colors.
Mhm.
I bought enough yarn of that color
So
and
that you'd have it.
to save it.
Good
And it's
idea.
been in a box.
Wow.
It's been in a box about half done for 40 years.
Oh, my.
And I
You're
I
gonna,
got
you're gonna
that.
finish it.
I needed something to do, so I dug
Here
it
it
out. And the thing is, it's been so long since I had to learn to do it over again.
Right.
The last week I started and I ruined, this is the third one.
Yeah, yeah.
This one isn't quite right, but
Oh,
it took me 3 squares to
Yeah.
kind of get back into
Into
looks
the
the
swing
perfect
of it,
to
yeah.
me.
To get it, yeah.
So this is the first one that I finally, it's still got a couple of things
Now,
in
what
it.
does
Like,
the Afghan,
Oh,
what are
wait.
the colors of the
Yeah,
Afghan?
I love it.
What are the colors of the Afghan?
Purple
This
and yellow, Ukraine, that's Ukrainian.
this color, this color, this color, this color.
Okay.
So I had to have 2 of those and this and this, so.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get you
And
that.
but I have those in a box and I stored them away all this time. Now I dug them out and I'm finally trying to start them again.
Well, that's exciting. Who does that after 40 years, find their old project? That's amazing.
I never throw
I
them.
love that.
I never throw anything away.
That's
Now,
wonderful.
listen,
Okay.
I'll tell you something else.
I can,
Years
Can you get your
ago,
wagon?
I'm fine.
when babies
call
were
them
born,
wagons.
I made
Oh,
baby
it's a- I
blankets,
can
you
get
know,
Oh, yeah.
that
Well,
were
let me get it for you.
I can get it. I can
45
right
inches
here.
wide and a yard,
Thank
of like outing flannel and stuff.
Oh,
And I
I'll
would,
get
when
it. I'll get it, Mom.
I'm right here, thanks.
You're okay?
I'm fine,
when,
thank you.
Okay.
when I'd
Yeah.
see something
care.
that was
I
on
will.
sale that was cute, I would buy a yard or 2
Mm-hmm.
and just have them in hand and stuff, because at that time, all my friends had friends.
Yeah.
I had my kids, all my friends had kids, so we were always something to do, babysit. And then it was a time when they were all grown up and stuff, so, but I have a box with
Yeah.
something. So this last baby, I sent a blanket with some things that were in that box.
Thank you.
That's banana bread.
I love it.
Good.
Thank you, Laura.
That box of outing flannel, with some pieces that
Uh-huh.
were, some. I sent it to my daughter, who is a grandma
Oh.
in Delaware.
Wow, she's
Took
a
it to-
grandma.
She took it and gave it to her daughter and for the granddaughter. And her daughter